Jacob Ellis, a successful farmer from the rural heartlands, pulled his old pickup truck into the gleaming parking lot of Prestige Jets, a high-end private jet dealership located near a bustling international airport. Dressed in his usual work attire, a faded plaid shirt, denim overalls, and sturdy boots, Jacob stepped out of his truck, looking around with a mix of curiosity and excitement. The dealership's exterior was a stark contrast to Jacob's simple, practical clothing. Sleek glass doors led into a luxuriously appointed showroom, where the latest models of private jets were advertised in ostentatious splendor. Polished marble floors, artfully arranged mood lighting, and sales desks equipped with high-tech gadgets reflected the opulence that Prestige Jets catered to. Jacob, whose farming enterprise had thrived over the years, allowing him to amass a considerable fortune, had always dreamed of owning a private jet. His decision to buy one was not just for luxury, but also for practical business reasons, to facilitate travel for agricultural conferences, visits to far-flung fields, and perhaps some leisure with his family. As he walked towards the entrance, a few patrons exiting the showroom glanced at him dismissively, their eyes briefly taking in his dusty truck and work-worn clothes before turning away indifferently. Unperturbed, Jacob entered the dealership, ready to make his dream a reality. His simple appearance starkly out of place in such a refined atmosphere, Jacob was unaware of the skepticism his presence would soon provoke. Inside the showroom, the air was cool and scented with a hint of luxury, a far cry from the earthy aromas of Jacob's farm. The walls were lined with promotional posters showcasing jets soaring over breathtaking landscapes. Jacob's eyes widened with appreciation, his heart set on exploring the possibilities each model could offer him. However, Jacob's enthusiasm was soon dampened by the reception he received. A young salesman, dressed impeccably in a tailored suit, noticed Jacob meandering among the displays. With a quick, skeptical once-over, the salesman approached Jacob, his expression a mix of confusion and condescension. "Can I help you, sir?" he asked, his tone polite but his voice tinged with doubt. "This area is for serious buyers only." Jacob, undeterred by the underlying insinuation, responded warmly, "Yes, thank you. I'm here to look at some jets. I'm interested in purchasing one." The salesman's eyebrows rose in surprise, barely masking a smirk. "Are you sure you're in the right place? These jets are quite expensive, and this isn't exactly farm equipment." Jacob felt a sting at the salesman's words but maintained his composure. "I'm quite aware of what I'm looking for and the cost involved," he replied calmly. Despite Jacob's clear interest, the salesman continued to doubt his sincerity and financial capability. He half-heartedly began pointing out features of the nearest jet model, his words laced with a tone that suggested he was humoring a fanciful dreamer. "This model is top of the line, probably more than what you're looking for." The interaction was becoming increasingly uncomfortable for Jacob, who was used to straightforward dealings and mutual respect in his rural community. The salesman's dismissive attitude was a harsh reminder that outside his familiar fields, judgments were often made based on appearances rather than substance. Despite the salesman's dismissive attitude, Jacob persisted, his interest in the jets undiminished by the skepticism he faced. He politely asked the salesman to show him specific models he had researched beforehand, his questions detailed and informed. Jacob's knowledge of jet specifications, performance statistics, and cabin amenities surprised the salesman, hinting at the seriousness of his intent. "Could you tell me more about the range and fuel efficiency of this model?" Jacob inquired, pointing to a sleek, mid-sized jet that had caught his eye. The question was technical, reflecting a level of preparation that was unexpected. The salesman, taken aback by the depth of Jacob's questions, began to shed some of his initial condescension. He walked Jacob through the features of the jet, albeit still with a hint of reluctance. As they moved from one aircraft to another, Jacob's keen observations about the jet's capabilities continued to challenge the salesman's assumptions. Jacob discussed potential routes he planned to use, the jet's ability to handle rural airstrips, and the advantages of different engine types. His practical approach to the purchase impressed even the other patrons in the showroom, who started to take an interest in the interaction. Despite growing slightly more respectful, the salesman still held onto a thread of doubt, his responses curt and his demeanor slightly aloof. He was performing his job, but without the enthusiasm and eagerness typically reserved for what he considered more appropriate clients. As they approached the most luxurious jet in the showroom, a state-of-the-art model with all the latest technology, the salesman joked, "This one here is the cream of the crop. Probably more than a simple farmer could ever hope to handle." "Huh?" Jacob smiled, unfazed, his confidence unshaken by the comment. He continued to inquire about the pricing, maintenance costs, and customization options, clearly demonstrating his capability and readiness to make such a significant investment. The interaction highlighted not only Jacob's resilience in the face of condescension, but also his depth of understanding and readiness to engage on complex subjects, slowly shifting the dynamics between him and the salesman. The tour concluded at the most prestigious aircraft in the showroom, where the tension between Jacob's humble appearance and his sophisticated inquiries about the jets had grown palpable. Sensing a final opportunity to clarify his position, Jacob reached into his jacket pocket. With a calm demeanor, he pulled out a bank statement and placed it on the sleek, polished surface of a nearby display table. The document clearly showed Jacob's financial capability, with figures that far exceeded the cost of even the most expensive jet in the showroom. The salesman's eyes widened in shock as he scanned the numbers, his earlier condescension quickly dissolving into embarrassment. "I farm quite a bit more than potatoes," Jacob said quietly, his tone even but firm. "I believe this will cover any model I choose, plus any customizations I see fit." The salesman stuttered an apology, suddenly shifting his attitude from disdainful to deferential. "Of course, Mr. Ellis, I apologize for any misunderstanding. Let's discuss what you need in your jet. We can customize every detail to your liking." Jacob nodded, appreciating the sudden change in service, but disappointed it required proving his wealth. He decided to use this moment not just to finalize his purchase, but also to impart a lesson in humility and respect. "Thank you," Jacob responded. "I came here not only looking to buy a jet, but to see if this dealership values all its potential customers equally. Wealth isn't always worn on one's sleeve." The salesman listened, the impact of Jacob's words evident in his chastened expression. Jacob proceeded to discuss the terms of his purchase, but with a clear message having been delivered: never underestimate someone based on appearances. This pivotal moment reshaped the remainder of Jacob's visit. The salesman, now extremely attentive, handled the specifications Jacob requested with utmost seriousness, ensuring that every detail was tailored to perfection. The other staff, witnessing the turn of events, treated Jacob with newfound respect, acknowledging his expertise and his respectful, if firm, correction of their colleagues' misjudgment. As Jacob finalized the details of his purchase, he felt a mixed sense of victory and melancholy. He had successfully navigated the prejudice he faced, yet it was a stark reminder that such biases were far too common. His experience at the dealership served not only as a personal triumph, but as a broader lesson on the value of respect and the dangers of assumption. Having finalized the purchase of his new jet, Jacob decided to turn his uncomfortable experience into a teachable moment for the dealership. Before leaving, he requested a brief meeting with the dealership's manager to discuss the day's events. The manager, a middle-aged woman with a reputation for professionalism, greeted Jacob courteously in her office. Jacob, now recognized as a significant client, was received with all due respects. He recounted his experience with a salesman, emphasizing the initial judgment based on his appearance and how it nearly cost the dealership a valuable sale. "I understand that luxury items like jets often attract a certain clientele," Jacob began, his tone earnest yet firm. "But it's essential to remember that respect and decency should be extended to all, regardless of how they're dressed or what you might assume about their background." The manager listened intently, her expression growing concerned. She apologized sincerely for any disrespect Jacob had encountered and assured him that it was not in line with the dealership's values. "Thank you for bringing this to my attention, Mr. Ellis. I assure you we will address this immediately. Everyone who walks through our doors should receive the same level of respect and service." Jacob nodded, appreciative of her understanding and swift commitment to corrective action. He suggested that perhaps the dealership could benefit from training sessions on customer service and implicit bias, to which the manager agreed wholeheartedly. The manager's response reinforced Jacob's decision to buy the jet from this dealership. He believed in second chances and the ability to learn from mistakes. Before leaving, Jacob shared a final thought: "We all have different stories and paths that lead us here. It's important not to judge a book by its cover, but to read its pages." With his new jet purchased and a lesson imparted, Jacob left the dealership feeling hopeful that his experience might lead to positive changes in how the business treated potential customers. The story of the farmer who bought a jet not only circulated within the dealership but also spread in the community, becoming a tale of humility and the importance of treating everyone with respect, regardless of their outward appearance. The episode concludes with Jacob walking towards his newly purchased jet, ready to take to the skies. His journey from the fields to the clouds encapsulates a journey of success tempered by humility, a powerful reminder that true character often shines brightest in simple attire. As Jacob prepared for his first flight in his new jet, the community buzz around his experience at the dealership grew. People from his hometown and beyond were inspired by his humility and the lesson he taught about respect. Meanwhile, back at the dealership, changes were beginning to take shape, spurred by Jacob's feedback. Positive changes at the dealership. The dealership manager took Jacob's suggestions to heart and initiated several key changes. First, she organized a series of workshops for all employees, focusing on customer service excellence and sensitivity training. These workshops address the importance of not making assumptions based on appearances and emphasize treating all customers with equal respect and dignity, regardless of perceived status. To reinforce these principles, the dealership also introduced a new customer interaction protocol. This protocol established clear guidelines on how to engage with customers in a respectful and welcoming manner, ensuring a positive experience from the moment they enter the dealership. Additionally, the manager implemented a monthly review process where employees could share their experiences and learn from each other about how to improve customer interactions. This open forum encouraged a culture of continuous improvement and accountability, which significantly boosted morale among the staff. Community impact and recognition. Jacob's story continued to resonate in his local community and among the broader public. His local newspaper picked up the story, highlighting his success as a farmer and entrepreneur and his impactful experience at the jet dealership. This coverage not only celebrated Jacob's achievements, but also underscored the importance of humility and respect in business dealings. The publicity had a ripple effect, inspiring other businesses in the area to examine their own customer service practices. Jacob was invited to speak at several community events, where he shared his philosophy of kindness and respect, further influencing the community's approach to business and personal interactions. Jacob's continued journey. With his new jet, Jacob was able to expand his farming business more efficiently, visiting remote fields and attending international agricultural conferences. His travels broadened his perspectives, and he brought new ideas and innovations back to his farming operations. Jacob also used his jet for philanthropic efforts, supporting disaster relief and community aid programs, which added to his reputation as a businessman who truly cared about making a difference. As Jacob flew over his fields and beyond, he often reflected on the unlikely journey that had taken him from the soil of his farm to the clouds above. Each flight was a reminder of where he had started and the values he carried with him: humility, respect, and the belief that one person's actions can indeed inspire change. The story of Jacob, the farmer who bought a jet, concluded on a note of hope and inspiration, proving that respect and kindness are powerful catalysts for positive change, transcending industries and communities alike.